welcome back to another episode of Getting Speakers Booked, a podcast by speakers and for speakers. I'm your host, Macy. I'm really excited about the episode we have coming up today. We have a really great guest, but as always, we start off the podcast. If you are a speaker looking to be connected to other speakers in the community, join our free Facebook group in the link below, the Global Speaker Circle. Every single Friday morning, we have networking with other speakers, so you can get connected to the stages that you deserve to be on. So today, I'm super excited to have my guest Chris with us today. Chris, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the great introduction. I will feed off of your energy today, so it's all good.
Oh, amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Chris is just an amazing speaker, and he has so much wisdom in literally every field you could ever imagine. So we're in for a real treat today. Chris and I will be sharing the stage at the Goal Achiever Summit next month, December 29th and 30th, here in Orlando, Florida. And he will be traveling ways away to come join and bless Orlando, Florida. And I'm very, very excited. So Chris, why don't you kind of open us up and tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and how you help people?
Very good. Well, I work with startups primarily, and I try to leverage my 45 years of experience in entrepreneurship. And because of that, I get involved in lots of different fields of endeavor and innovation. And really, I look at strategy and leadership and how I can have discussions to help people find solutions to those problems. And I've been helping people find solutions to those problems for quite a long time in industries as far spread as nuclear energy and taquerias.
Wow.
Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of the problems and solutions we seek in business are very similar.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's so fascinating when someone themselves is starting a new business for the first time and their job was one thing and they've completely done a hard 180 pivot into something completely different. But they're always finding that maybe they're doing something more creative now, but they were an analyst in their past life and they were able to still take the way that they analyze data into the way that they create art now. And I think that's the most fascinating thing. And I'm sure that's what you deal with all the time. It's hey, this is what we learned at nuclear energy and this is how we can apply it to the taquiras. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I tell people I've pivoted so many times I should be a ballerina, but I enjoy the adventure and the experiences, and I think that almost every conversation I have, I can use all of those experience over the last 45 years of business to help people have a relationship and look at the conversation as part of the solution. So many times people want to have a solution to a problem that comes out of a book and they check a box and the solution is created, but I think the solutions are created through conversations and relationship.
That's a great way to put it, and I wholeheartedly agree that the only way that you're able to really learn sometimes is by building the foundation through those conversations, right? We had a really great conversation, what was it, I think 2 weeks ago or something, and it was so fascinating to learn about all of the things that you're doing and how you're helping people. And I feel every conversation I have with someone, even if we do not work in that same field or we do the same thing, I'm always taking something that is a great point, I'm going to start applying this to what I'm doing in a completely different space.
Right, and it's because we come against a lot of the same challenges: growth, leadership, building our team. All these kinds of things are ubiquitous across most businesses, and if we can build that relationship, we can actually get to the heart of how we can solve problems.
Exactly, and I think especially now that there's a huge I'm always thinking about how our current generation matches up with our past generation, and how I feel in our current generation we're always assuming we have it the worst. Or in this day and age, especially right now more than ever, these are words that we use all the time. But I do think there's an aspect of that to sales where maybe it was easier to sell a car 40 years ago before the car salesman had the reputation they had now, right? Maybe the trust factor was a little bit easier to build, but the fact is right now that people are always selling to you in everything that you do, that the only way to stand out is to prove that you are a real human being and say, hey, I do want your best interest in charge. And that's a huge part, I think, of any type of business or any type of relationship, is to always prove that, hey, I do have your best interest in mind and I want to keep that there.
Right. And what I've found is all of that being true, the other side of that coin is when we have those conversations, we have to be open to listening.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be open to other points of view.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we do things in the different businesses I've been in, it's really the value I find is the people that are around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've grown over time. I wasn't always the best at it, and I probably am still not the best at it, but I really strive to listen
Yeah.
and find out what other options are available to move the organization forward or the product forward or what have you. And listening is a key component to that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I just want to, speaking of, I want to pivot a little bit and talk a little bit about your speaking career, because you were telling me a little bit about how you got started in speaking. So I'd love for you to share kind of that story and your journey so far.
Yeah, you know, I grew up in a situation in the country, and we belonged to an organization called 4-H at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they had demonstration days. And I didn't have any fear of speaking in front of people because I had no idea what that meant. Right? Sometimes our fears are only self-propagated in our heads.
Yeah.
But if we don't have that in our heads, then there's no fear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you don't know the rattlesnake's venomous, you have no fear of the rattlesnake. Right? It's about the information that we can get. And so when I was about 11 or 12, probably around 12, they had these things called demonstration days. And so I was put up on a stage and had to put on presentations. Not to a big crowd, maybe 15 people, that kind of thing, but it was still a presentation. And then I just continued to carry that forward. When I was 14, I was one of the team that was on the youth news on the local radio station. I have no idea how many people it reached, but there was only about 4 or 5 of us in the room, so it wasn't that big a deal. And I carried that forward and kept doing public speaking and presentations, marketing presentations, and those kinds of things for companies. And then I went to get some professional assistance. And what was the turning point in how I presented myself on stage was they did 2 sessions where they videotaped me speaking. With no guidance. They just said, here's a topic, speak on it, we're going to videotape you. I thought, okay, problem. I don't have a problem with that. And then they showed me the videotape. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I was already in my late, probably early 30s at this point when they did that. And then they gave me some simple pointers. And so I recommend that if anybody's going to be doing public speaking, and you're getting new into it and you want to really be good at it, have your friends or family record, audio and video record a presentation. Not in front of people. I didn't do it in front of people. I did it in front of the class. And then be open to the critique of what you're doing. So I was open to the critique, and they told me a few things, and it changed how I spoke on stage 100%. I was no longer stiff. I didn't stand like I was in the military. I didn't address people. I grew up in the environment where they said if you're nervous, just look over the top of everybody. Don't make any eye contact. So early on, when I was speaking, I was always looking at the back wall of the room. And so they made a few pointers, and it really changed my experience. And so I've been on stage doing public speaking. I probably have 400 or 500 hours of stage time for different aspects. Been on TV, not as an actor, but as somebody on the sidelines doing some things. Been on lots of radio programs. Been on lots of podcasts. Had my own radio station for a while because as people get to know me, they realize that I can talk for hours on end and without stop. So So it's been a great journey, and I'm really looking forward to Goal Achievers in December in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's probably going to be the turning point for me in my public speaking career,
Oh wow.
um, simply because I was asked to join
Mm-hmm.
and asked to present versus myself trying to get myself involved.
Sure.
So it's an exciting thing for me personally, and I don't look to be a full-time professional speaker that's out there 5 times a week kind of thing. I look for being a public speaker to stay engaged, stay informed, and be part of the community because
Yeah.
that's ultimately my goal is to be part of the community.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. There are so many things that you said that really resonated with me. I mean, especially recording yourself, and I think it takes like a lot of guts to watch yourself back. I absolutely hate it. I gave a
Yeah,
TEDx talk right last summer. I probably watched that thing once in the past year since it was released. I think I watched it when
yeah.
it first came out, and I was like, it's not too bad. I won't watch it
I was
again.
I was afraid of being narcissistic, so I in 2000 I want to say 2009, 8, 10 somewhere in there I did a TEDx talk,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
that's amazing.
and uh, I watched it probably 300 times.
But
I
that's
didn't want to be
good. I mean,
I didn't want to be narcissistic, but what I was trying to do was trying to determine whether I wanted to do more of that.
it's a great way to decide. No, but I think there's something so special about being able to watch yourself, and then it really adds, I think, credibility when your friends or your loved ones who do know what they're talking about, and I want to emphasize that, like, don't just give it to a random person off the street. Like, don't give it to your 4-year-old nephew. That's probably not the best person to critique you. But, someone
True
who's
that.
also been speaking or presenting and saying, hey, do you also see this in you? And I think
Right.
that's a really important part for yourself to learn. And I think I loved what you were saying of just being able to critique yourself and being like, hey,
Right.
I noticed that about me, and it's in fact affecting my performance, my confidence, and also how's the audience, watching me. I remember I competed in a public speaking competition, and I think I was 14 at the time, and
Hmm.
obviously it was recorded. My dad posted it and whatever, and I remember probably like 3 years later, my dad played it back. He was like, "You should watch it," and I was like, "I did so bad because I thought I did horrible." I was like,
Right.
I forgot half my speech. I blacked out. If you asked me what I said on that stage, there's nothing I said. I fully don't remember what I said. But I
Right.
watched it back per his, I wouldn't even say suggestion, I would say demand. And I did, and I was like, this isn't bad.
Right.
So it was also a good confidence boost for me, being like, hey, I know what I can improve on for next time and how I can prepare better.
Right.
But it's not as bad as I was thinking. Like, I'm a better speaker than I thought I was, which I think is another part to the coin, another side of
Right.
the coin of you're able to critique yourself, but you're able to see, like, hey, I'm good at this. I just can, if I work
Yeah.
on a few more things, I can be even better. So those are
Yep.
some really great points, and I appreciate you bringing that up. And you also
Yep.
brought up Goal Achievers, which is going to be amazing. Do you want to talk a little bit about what is Goal Achievers? What can people expect next month, and what are you gonna talk about?
Goal Achievers Summit is at the end of December, and some people may be challenged with the dates and times, but it's an opportunity time to really look at what you're going to do in 2026. Now, there's going to be some great speakers, somewhere between 30 and 40 speakers over a 2 day period of time in Orlando, Florida. And you're going to hear a lot of great advice, not just on goal seeking, but on life seeking and
Mm-hmm.
being able to take your business and your personal life to the next level in 2026. Myself, I'm going to be speaking basically around my new book called Leader Canoe. So I'll be speaking on leadership. And the Leader Canoe is a book that I published a few months ago. And it's on the premise that when a lot of us get put into leadership, there is no ship.
Mm-hmm.
There's a canoe, and you're on a river, and you
Mm-hmm.
get in that canoe, and there's no guidance, there's no tools, there's nothing available for you to understand what leadership really means.
Mm-hmm.
And you struggle through that until you get to the beachhead at the end of the river, and then you can go and get onto the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I base that on my experience as a world-class open ocean Hawaiian canoe racer. So I did open ocean canoe racing with a team there were 6 people in the canoe. I was in seat 5, and I had to follow the leadership of the stroker and the steersman and other people in the team. But I also had to be a leader because I was called the horseman. I had to sit seat 5, which means I dug deeper than everybody else. I stroked harder than everybody else because that was my role. So I wrote the book kind of based around that metaphor and that premise that not only do you need to decide whether you're going to be a leader and seek out the tools, but you also need to be part of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
no,
that's what
I'm
I'll be
excited.
speaking on. And
That's gonna be
other than that, I have no idea what I'm going to say.
Yeah, you have everything planned out except for like what? No, absolutely.
Yeah,
I am so, so excited for something like that. I mean, you're not even just talking about metaphors as a whole. I mean, you lived it, you experienced it, you can tell us exactly what you mean. And I think so many people in the audience are going to be surprised. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about very early in the podcast, which is that we don't realize that this experience lends itself to another experience that we're doing now. Like, you didn't realize when you were canoeing, hey, this is what I'm going to talk about in a few years' time on leadership. Like, you don't think
right,
about how those connect, but then you're in the weeds of it and you're like, oh my gosh, I like what I learned from that experience of being in that canoe is teaching me how to be a better leader for my people. And I think
right.
that's a huge revelation for anyone. And I think a lot of people in the audience are just going to have so much fun and they're just going to learn so much. And I'm really excited. So, again, we'll reiterate Goal Achievers Summit is happening in Orlando, Florida, December 29th and 30th of
Yep,
2025.
yep,
We have the link in the description to click, copy, and paste, whatever, to check out the event. And if you have any questions or you'd like to attend and you have any questions on that, you can always reach out to either Chris or I and learn more on how to get involved. Be there. It's an event for people who are serious, who know that they're ready for 2026 to
yep.
absolutely explode their business, who are
Correct.
just really dedicated to their legacy, their company's legacy, and just improving their business. So I'm super thrilled to be there,
Yep,
and we're going to just have so many amazing speakers and also attendees at the event. So many amazing
yep,
people I know are attending, let alone
yeah,
speaking. I mean, I'm going to technically be attending. I'm going to be in the crowd with everyone, and I'm excited to
yeah,
listen to your talk, Chris. So thank you
yeah.
again for the time.
Thank you.
This was so much fun. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it, and I really appreciate your generosity.
Hey, I appreciate you reaching out and letting
Of
me
course.
be part of this. And I look forward to seeing you in person in Orlando.
Very soon, very soon. So thank you again, Chris.
Okay.
I really appreciate you. And to
Okay.
everyone watching, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.